every morning at 6 a.m. sharp. Mail carrier Walt Briggs started his route in the town of Maple Hollow, population 1,872 and shrinking. The post office was barely bigger than a coffee shop, and Walt was the last of the old-school drivers, quiet, punctual, and known for never missing a delivery in 32 years. But on a chilly October morning, Walt discovered something new in his truck. A cat. Not just any stray. A sleek black and white tuxedo cat curled up neatly on the passenger seat like it had always belonged there. Yellow eyes blinked up at him, unbothered. Walt stared for a long moment. "You lost? Or just hitching a ride?" the cat meowed. And that's how it started. People searched for Stamp on porches, under decks, behind garages. Walt himself drove through alleys and side roads long after his route was done. Wouldn't say it, but his face said everything. Grief. 3 days passed. Then, on a snow-covered Thursday, Walt turned onto his final stretch and saw something on the edge of a mailbox. A letter. Not unusual, except it wasn't in an envelope. It was a child's drawing, crayon on folded paper. A picture of Walt and Stamp, together in the truck. At the bottom, it read, "Don't be sad. Cats come back when you need them most." Walt swallowed hard, placed the drawing on the dash, and kept driving. 10 minutes later, he turned onto Maple Lane, and there, sitting patiently on the same old seat, was Stamp. Snowflakes on his fur, tail curled, like he'd never left. Walt figured the cat would jump out when he opened the door. It didn't. In fact, when he started the engine and began the route, the cat seemed content, watching trees blur by, occasionally batting at the corner of his route sheet, or curling up when they passed through colder back roads. By the time he reached the second neighborhood, Walt had given in and split his turkey sandwich with it. At the Maple Hollow Retirement Center, Mrs. Levin peered into the truck and gasped, "Oh my stars, is that a cat riding shotgun?" Walt grumbled, "Looks that way." News spread fast. Soon, Mail Cat was the talk of the town. The cat became a regular fixture. Perched beside Walt, paws resting on the dashboard, like a furry little co-pilot. No one claimed him. So Walt named him Stamp. Over the weeks, Stamp became more than a novelty. He became part of the community. Kids left drawings of him in their mailboxes. Retirees waited with treats. Someone made him a tiny mail carrier hat. But he always rode with Walt. Every morning, same seat, and Walt changed. He smiled more, talked a little more, even started wearing a clean shirt instead of his old faded flannel. It wasn't just the town that had adopted Stamp. Walt had too. Then, in early December, Walt's truck came back without the cat. No one saw Stamp that day, or the next, or the next. Walt never spoke about where Stamp had gone. Some said he was off delivering letters of his own. Others believed he just needed to stretch his paws. But Walt believed something else. Stamp had known how much he was needed, and had come back at exactly the right time. The route continued, and from that winter on, Stamp became official. The post office gave him a badge. Local news did a story. Kids waved at the truck every morning, and Walt. He kept driving, with a cat by his side and a heart that, for the first time in years, felt full again. And every letter in Maple Hollow was delivered, on time and with a little extra love.